you're making? What is it you're creating? What are you thinking of?
What's going on, everybody? It's Garrett here, Evan as well. Don't get that confused. We're here at FETC 2026, and we've talked to so many adults that we finally got to the real deal. We have learners, we have students in the booth today. Say hello to representatives from Mountainview High School. Let's start from here. Say your name and grade.
My name is Yash, and I'm a junior at Mountainview.
Awesome.
My name is Drew. I'm a senior.
I'm Claire. I'm a senior.
I'm Nikita. I'm also a senior.
I'm Sophia, also a senior.
I'm Myra, and I'm sophomore.
Principal.
Glazer, proud principal of all these humans.
That's amazing. And guys, I have a very close relationship, as we were talking about, with Silicon Valley. But tell me why you guys are here. What brings Silicon Valley all the way to the west or the east coast to a really hot and humid area of Florida?
You were voluntold.
So talk to me a little bit about why you guys are here.
It's a part of our school principals, Dr. Glazer, her technology internship program. So she was asked to come here, and she loves taking us to her conferences because we value student voice quite a lot. So we tag along with her. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, like, from any one of you, what was the key thing that you learned spending time around some of the most game-changing tech we've seen in education in a long time?
The thing that I learned is that there's a lot of questions right now being asked by lots of different people, and no one has clear answers yet. But I think what's exciting is that, even in the Tech Expo, you can see all these different people trying to figure out how to navigate this new space with AI and technology, and everyone's sort of stepping into this unknown together. And I think that makes it exciting because even though we don't have answers yet, we definitely have people take on.
So I love that one so much. And before we dive in, because I'm dying to ask you guys all questions, can I start with you?
Sure.
And from a leadership perspective, how did you come up with this idea to bring influence across the country? Like, what do other leaders need to know? And what has been the impact when you go back to the school setting on students Monday, Tuesday, a year from now? What does that look like on the leadership side?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'll start with what does leaders need? What do we say that you have to model iterative spirit and fail to do it when you don't model it. So I've always been that sort of mindset. And I think problems big and we're all in this together and we have to do something. We have to try it instead of waiting for someone else to come and tell.
Can we get more principals like you? What I was going to say for you guys is, there seems to be, and there is, like your parents, when you go home, there's this understanding of technology, but then there is your guys' understanding of technology, which is you were born into this. There has never not been really cool tech in your hands. Whereas a guy like me, we didn't see that stuff until, the first time I saw something like that was in Star Trek. And I thought it was never going to
Wait, pause it. What is Star Trek, right?
I'm sorry. Let's go back on that first. And what I was going to say is what are we missing as adults? What are we overlooking in the usage of technology and let me say, the perception of youth using technology? Because how many times have you guys heard so much screen time and kids these days and all that stuff? What are we missing as adults when it comes to the usage of technology?
Especially with AI, when they see students are using AI, they see it as a way of cheating. So they think that the only way students are using AI is to find the answers and as a shortcut. But I think what a lot of students, including a lot of us, have learned is that AI can actually be used to enhance your learning, to dig deeper, and to explore more. And so I wish that's something more that parents and adults would know.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was going to say that for parents and educators, a lot of the time they forget that we as students have the same goal as them. We want to educate ourselves further. We want to learn more about the world. And we're doing that through these AI tools. And I think they also forget that we are united towards the same cause. So like Myra said, we're not necessarily using it for those like irresponsible ways that they were saying, but we are also trying to do the same thing, figure this out together and use it for the best of us.
That is such a great answer. And let me ask you this, not to hog the conversation, Evan, but where do you see technology going, right? We have AI. AI for me was a fundamentally game-changing platform of tech. It is, as you can see, in everything that literally is here. Where do you see this ending up? Where do you see 20 years from now technology being implemented in classrooms? What does that look like? And we can get dreamy and creative here. I'm super interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is extremely hard to define where AI or any technology will end up because all that matters is a time frame. Years, 10 years, 100 years, technology will look completely different. AI is a perfect example of that. 15, 20 years ago, it was the iPhone. Before that, it was computers. And now AI creates such a unique opportunity because of the fundamental things that it brings. It allows for any action to be done online significantly faster, cheaper than humans are able to do it. And I think with that comes a lot of fear. What is to stop me from being replaced? If all I do is use AI, why can't someone else just use AI as well? And where is that divide? Sam Altman even said this. It was something that will eventually lead to the end of the world, but there will be a lot of great companies between now and then. And it's just a scary reality to live in.
Yeah.
So we have to do our part to try to prevent the end of the world and, build the great companies.
I think one of the unique things about your guys' generation, and it's not a positive thing, is that, for the first time in human history, which is true, you guys have it somewhat harder than every generation before you in the problems that you guys are facing, these macro. I think one is as adults, and driven through my question, is we can spend more time talking to you as equals, right? In this, like you said, equals in this discovery of game-changing technology rather than going out of fear, right? Adults come to you with fear and go, don't use this, don't cheat, right? But what adults don't understand is, and I talk to and I speak to a lot of people is, and you guys may not know this, but maybe you do. In the next 5 to 10 years, the content in which you're learning could possibly be completely irrelevant, right? Because you know where tech's going. You know how you use tech. So then it makes us ask those bigger questions. What is purpose? What is work? What is life? What is, human? That's another thing, right? I'm super fascinated with robotics. Talk to me a little bit about your guys' understanding of robotics and implementation within classrooms.
I mean, I would say that there's really just so much more room for it now. I think what you were talking about like the purpose, that's actually something that we've discussed as an internship quite a lot. What is like the motivation for the lessons that we're getting as students now? Because AI can really just, answer all the worksheets that we have. So when we're talking about robotics in education, I think that it's something that's going to be a lot more accessible. And it's a great hands-on way to actually have students engage in their learning. And I mean, that is something that we've been talking about a lot as an internship, is how to make these lessons more hands-on engaging and actually make students to be like they have a purpose with the lesson.
Wow.
So on that side, that was a perfect lead, and thank you for that. One of the things that we do globally is we empower educators. So there's no red tape. What would you do? We connect them with experts. We connect them with funding to bring their dream ideas to life. You talk about engagement in the classroom, and kudos to you for developing that and nurturing.
This would be a kind of project you would develop with the principal, not something that you just pulled off, you know what I mean? Which is awesome.
Giving space for something like this. But for all of you, and I will say outliers in a sense, right, that are here speaking, public, what are those dream projects? If you're walking into a classroom, whether it's in Mountain View or somewhere in Orlando, and a teacher said, welcome, we're doing this today. What would be that dream that gets you excited and engaged moving forward? And when we go down the line on this one, because it should connect to your passions, your interests, future skills, but we want to bring that back to teachers. I feel so many teachers have lost that spark. This room is amazing, but come Monday, we're back to the same old table. To hear from students is everything.
And my interest of coding never was sitting at a laptop typing for hours at a time. My interest was from creating something. So if I walked into a classroom and my teacher was, today we are going to be creating something cool, something unique, whether it be a drone show like we saw last night or an AI show, the different things that we are doing in life or anything involving this emerging technology, I would love to do it and I would love to be part of it. And it's where it was fun.
I think students are the most excited when they feel heard. And something I think I've heard before is it's one thing to say that we appreciate student voice and we appreciate student perspective, but then it's something different to actually invite students into the conversation and give them that push. So I think my dream lesson is if I were to walk into a classroom and the teacher encouraged the entire class to truly share their voice, and I guess it would depend on the class, but share their voice on their perspective on what they wanted to see. It could even be like a platform that they were using in class, share their perspective about what they were learning and get
And for students to say, when am I ever going to use this math theorem in the real life? When is this ever going to really apply to me? And so I think giving opportunity to just really look at the reality of where we're at and allowing students to explore and go off on their own and do passion projects of what they're really passionate about, whether that's in biology or asking questions in math, but just different ways to really allow people to be exposed to what's really going on and show them the different possibilities of those subjects. For me as a student, I love being creative, like being able to learn in my own way. And when you asked that question, it made me immediately think of a workshop that I actually took a part in here, which was the Lego workshop. And it was, you pretty much learn like computer science and just a lot about robotics through Legos. And it was intended for elementary schoolers, but I mean, I got excited about it because it's something that I was super interested in and I love Legos and I just thought it was an incredible way to keep me engaged through something that I love to do. So I think for me, a dream lesson would really be just something hands-on and something that could help me learn in a way that isn't just a lecture.
Love it.
Yeah, this is like what a lot of peers have already said, but I would dream of working on something that has a tangible and impactful product. Because a lot of times within our classrooms, especially our AP classrooms, we get very good at answering MCQs, multiple choice questions. We get very good at memorizing, AP bio. We get good at memorizing data. But is that actually going to be applicable in the real world, especially when AI becomes ever the more present? Not exactly. And I would say the work that we do in the tech internship, creating an organization, learning about management, learning about how you collaborate with your skills that we're actually going to use after college, after high school. And that is what I hope that more classrooms will teach.
I think we've just been introduced to Thinkering Collective. No, yeah, the next iteration.
Taking notes or listening to a lecture, it becomes very boring. And we are supposed to do a group project. We're supposed to go out there and ask other people on their perspectives. I start to learn a lot, to interact with other people, and I'm actually listening to them instead of just sitting on my desk and listening to the same voice over and over again. So I think that is something that I would really enjoy.
So I think, thank you for all of that. I see you blushing and taking it to heart on this one too.
Doesn't make it all worth it.
I think this is what just happened over the last 5 minutes really is we need to remember this.
Yes.
Our teachers need to remember, why did
Yeah.
we get into this profession?
I know.
And we're forgetting, and events like this remind us, but we need to remember these are our clients. If we're talking about business, we have to talk to our clients. We have to understand what's best for them. We have to understand they can go elsewhere and do other things in a day of age AI. That's a real threat. So it comes back to what we always say, how do you humanize education? Any closing remarks, and then I'll leave it to Gary too, but anything that the audience should know about what you created and what comes next, right?
So one of the things that I'm so proud that our students are internalizing, and Sophia said it in another podcast we did. She said, I used to think leadership was a title, leaving a legacy and structure so that other people can step up and I become invisible. And I think that's something that we should know. Like as a classroom teacher, by the end of the school year, I didn't speak. My students ran the classroom and they knew how to prepare for AP tests because I taught AP Lit. And we used to create games in my classroom. And I remember first time I did that and I came in and say, you're doing what in AP Lit? What's going on here? And I said, you just have to trust me. We will be fine. And my students passed that AP test 99%. There is a way to do it, except that it requires a lot of planning, because we need leaders. That's why I became a principal. We need leaders who say yes to the teacher who's doing something different and help them, resource them, and support them. I didn't get that from my own admin. I could rely on to say, here's what I'm thinking of. How can I do this? And I think that's why this is so important to be together in community, in real life, and making connections. And I want that to be for my students and every single student who really, frankly, deserve the best education that we can possibly provide.
And what I would say is you're doing an amazing job, because even just listening to Sophia say what took me 10 years to learn around leadership is just phenomenal. And having that leg up, right, to really be able to change things if you want to, or build an amazing business or company, you know, I think all of you should take that into heart. I'm sure you do, is leadership is not an ego thing. It's actually the exact opposite. It's a selfless job. I definitely want to come and check out the work you guys are doing, come into the classroom and see what you guys are up to, maybe bring some surprises for you and a camera crew or two. But thank you guys so much. From FETC 2026, this is all that matters, my friends. The work they're doing here, the perspective, it's all that matters. We are wrapping up here at FETC 2026. From Thinkering Voices, have a fantastic day. We'll see you very soon.